Today we're in the Wreck of Beacons. Harry's new hat. Hello and welcome back to Harry Rambles. Today we're in Dartmoor. We're going to do Oakhampton Common, just a big hill basically, and it goes past a reservoir, Meldon Reservoir. So I'm here today in Meldon, so I'm going to do a 7-mile loop and wild camp overnight. So we'll see how it goes. It has rained today and it might be a little bit damp. And also, if you can see there, my boot is basically falling apart. So that's basically the end of these boots, I think, this hike, which is kind of a shame because I quite liked these boots, but it just means I can try and get some new ones. Let's go. Well, these boots are going to be annoying because sort of every time I take a step it just makes like a little noise. So why can't I just have things that stop breaking and falling apart and things like that? Like, they were fine, they were perfectly fine when I got home, or even like after the last hike they were fine. So I don't know what changed. Maybe they were just a bit damp, or there was, I don't know. Don't know why they've suddenly decided to break on me, but whatever. So we'll just keep on going. Gotta say, this place is pretty cool, and I've not been back to Dartmoor in probably about 12 years or something like that. I came here with school, I don't know, 2008 or something like that, so I don't know, that was just, you know, a long time ago. But I can't remember where I went with school, I just know that it was Dartmoor. So it would have been nice if I could find that out and I'd sort of retrace my steps, but at least we're back. This is the first Dartmoor trip for Harry Rambles. So yeah, let's just see what happens. Hope you enjoy it. We can only hope that the clouds clear up tonight so we can get some stars, but I can't promise anything. So let's keep pressing on. Let's go. Come on then, let's go. And this one over here has got a bit of a comb over. The good thing about wild horses and ponies on routes like these in the moors is they see people all the time, so they're just used to us. So as long as you treat them with respect, then they're not going to do anything really. Especially because they're prey animals, they're not going to hurt you. But you just got to be careful around them anyway because they're very strong. Got a different hat. Oh, don't blow away. I almost just lost this hat. Not again! Yeah, it's a little bit windy up here, but nowhere near as bad as it was in Wales last week. That was atrocious. Very dangerous. I think the biggest shame when it comes to places like Dartmoor is that, as beautiful as it looks, with how empty and bleak and how vast it is, this area, thousands of years ago, back to like the Stone Age and things like that, it would have all just been covered in trees. But it's like ever since the Bronze Age, all of the trees just got chopped down. Deforestation started early, kids. And it wasn't by us. It was by the ancients. I don't know where to camp. I could camp anywhere. It's legal. It's the only place in England and Wales, and maybe Northern Ireland, I don't know the rules there, but you are allowed to wild camp here in certain areas. However, those areas take up about 40% of the whole national park. So you can camp here, you can wild camp here without needing to ask permission, so long as you've got like a small tent, you're staying for 1 or 2 nights, and you leave no trace. So it's basically just all about respect, really. But anyway, I think we're just going to try and get all the way down there. There's like some stones, some outcrops that kind of stick out. We could probably go up there, wild camp around there, get some views. Could look pretty cool. Earlier on, I had to take some emergency measures to make sure that I don't get a wet right foot. Well, I put my foot inside of a plastic bag and then inside the boot, so I can still use the boot, and if any water gets in, then the bag negates the water. Well, I mean, I've literally just walked into a place that's quite boggy, actually. Yeah, so the water will get in there. I'll only feel the cold, but yeah, we should be alright. If anyone can recommend some good boots that are quite flexible, or good for your ankles as well, I need some nice ankle support. Although I do intend on getting some trail runners for the summertime. But yeah, any good boot recommendations that don't fall apart after about 6 months of hiking, then yeah, leave your suggestions in the comments section below, because I'd really appreciate that. So up ahead we've got, I think it's called Black Tor, which are those rocks that sort of crop out from the verge of the hill. So we're going to check that out. That could look cool. So I've just had some food, and now I'm going to head up to Black Tor, just up there. Well, you didn't see that, but my foot just went deep in some mud. Quite windy here. Don't worry, I'll never leave you behind. You're safe. You're safe with Harry Rambles. If you had a bivvy, or like a bivvy bag, or just like a really small sort of tent, even a tarp, you could easily sleep in that gap there. You got some good protection from the wind. Like, it's quite quiet here. wind-wise. But no, I was going to say that if I don't find a good spot to camp tonight, I was thinking I could just sort of go on this grass here. It's quite flat. Could just go somewhere like there. So yeah, I'm sort of making the decision now that I'm going to use there, back at Black Tor, as like a backup camp spot. But for now, because I've still got about an hour and a half of daylight, up there in that fog you've got something called High Willies, and then you've got something called Fordsland Ledge, which is just over there. It looks like there's a building there, or probably just another big rock, but it looks very square. So where I am now is I'm in this big danger zone. It's where the military, the British Army, practice with live ammunition. And yeah, so essentially during the day, if there's any practice going on, they use red flags, and at night they'll have some red lights that just glow in the dark. And that's just to let you know that you should not go in there. Because, you know, there could be some live ordnance that explodes and kills you. However, I have checked, because you can go online on I think it's on the National Parks website. I can't remember, but I'll try and leave a link in the description below. But it shows you all the live firing practice times, and so I know that today and tomorrow in Oakhampton, where we are now, the military aren't practicing. Like, we're getting some blue up there, and you can see the edge of some cloud. I think we might be lucky in a bit in the next hour or so and at least get some form of sky. So I've made the decision now that I'm just going to go back down. I hadn't come too far, Black Tor's just down there, so I'm going to head down there and I'm going to pitch my tent. Because to try and get up to where I wanted to have a quick look it's all boggy. it's kind of like it's like all of this. My shoe is just falling apart. So yeah. Plus I've got about an hour and 15 minutes of daylight left, so I think I'd rather have a nice little place to camp that I know is going to do me well, it's just going to be perfect for the night. And then, if I can get past all this swampy crap. I'm at the top of Black Tor again now. This is a different part of it. And yeah, we've got this nice kind of flat bit there. Some more there. Even here could probably do. I do have some sheep there to contend with though. And also, there's probably about 30 sheep down there, so I'd hope not to be woken up by them or have them like poo on my tent or something like that. That wouldn't be good. It's a cool spot though. Kind of reminds me of Kinder Scout with all of its rock formations and things like that. You know what I reckon? I mean, most likely, but I reckon Dartmoor at one point was underneath the ocean, underneath some sea. And these sort of rocks, these would be the seabed. Because like, you can see here, all these kind of grooves, they look like water erosion. The sort of kind of rocks that you'd see underwater as well. But I could be talking out of my arse, so I don't really know. It was underwater at one point, half of it, a lot of it, some of it. Yeah, well, let's try and figure out camp. Okay, let's get this tent set up. Oh. Ta-da! There we go, tent is pitched. I think it's an alright pitch, to be fair. But there's something I want to show you quickly on these rocks. If only it wasn't cloudy. That sunset would be incredible right now. So I'm just going to get in the tent. I'm going to blow up the bed. I'm going to try and do it all from within the tent because this ground is sodden, which isn't fun. Oh. It's about 6:30, I think, maybe like 7:15. So I think I'm just gonna try and have some food for dinner tonight. Is pasta bolognese. Should be rather nice, I reckon. Food is cooking now. Plus we've got enough ventilation as well. We've got gaps here where there's plenty of air coming in. But yeah, I'll check back in with you once this is boiling. So stay tuned. I just want my food. Beavertown neck oil, session IPA, 4.3%. It's going to be a good one. I know that for sure. Ooh. That's good. It's just what I needed after today's little hike. I've been putting my phone up there for signal. It's a bit crap. Okay, so food is boiled, but I did just have an idea. Or it's not an idea, but the good thing about boiling your food this way whilst it's in the bag is that I can reuse that water. I can put that water back in my water bottle. So, yeah. Smells pretty darn good actually. Okay, so now the inside probably won't look that appetizing, but it'll do me. It's not bad. I think the only problem with foods like this, or food like this in the kind of foil bags or packets, is that they do end up tasting slightly metallic-y, like tin foil almost. But when you're on multi-day hikes and things like that, and you have no access to like fresh food or shops and things like that, it's always worth just having a few of these in your bag. So I was just having a little nap. I heard what sounded like footsteps around the side of my, well, around the edge of my tent. Wet footprints, footsteps, because I know that the ground around here is quite soggy. It's quite sodden, so when you walk around it sounds quite squelchy. I don't know, they sounded somewhat heavy footed, so I was like, oh well, it's probably a sheep. But it was just getting like closer and closer to the tent. So I tried to say like, go on, get out of here. And like I could have sworn like it just stayed there, and I could have sworn I could have heard breathing as well. So that was kind of creepy. Who at this kind of time of night, when it's pitch black up here, is going to be walking around Dartmoor, I don't know, lurking around someone's tent? So like, they would have had to walk up here in the dark with like a torch or something like that. Anywho, I know I've got a knife on me, so I can always protect myself. But yeah, I thought I'd have a look, so I opened up the door, you know, shone the torch, and what I think it was just my tent. I was scared of my own tent. It's like the tent, there was a certain, whenever like wind hit it, it would just brush against grass and it sounded like a wet footstep. Yeah. I mean, there might have been a sheep as well, but I couldn't see anything on both sides of the tent. But yeah, sometimes wild camping really sort of like messes with your imagination. Oh God. Feels like the wind's picked up a bit. 8 degrees. 8 degrees. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad, but it's the wind chill. Because I'm in a 3-season tent, I've got all this like mesh. I've got my mesh. Oh my God. No. Oh, how did I not know? What? This is sick. In 3-season tents, you have a lot of this mesh, and this just allows ventilation to come in. And so that's why tonight it's a bit chilly. I thought this panel here, yeah, I've never really paid attention to it too much. I thought it was just part of this mesh, but it turns out it's a pocket. I've got a new pocket. Oh, that is cool. How did I never know that? All this time, like for trying to get like 4G or something like that, I've been whacking my phone up there. I'm such an idiot. I could have literally just slid it. Could have literally just put that in there. Oh man. Is anybody else a fan of Haze Outdoors?
I shall tell you. That's good.
He's great. He's great. He's probably the YouTuber that got me into hiking, wild camping, and having my own channel. So thank you, Haze Outdoors. There's a little shout out. I'll put a little shout out in the description. I'll put a link to his channel as well. He's great. He does all these like tent reviews, beer reviews, whatever, and he's just got top tier banter. So yeah, visit Haze Outdoors. He's great. Well, good morning. It's 7:30, so I think I'm gonna have some food, have a coffee, pack down and leave. Let's have a look outside at what is most likely a grey, wet day. Yeah. So I've also just found out that both of my boots are wet. Both of my previous, well, the socks that I wore yesterday are wet. And my hiking trousers are wet as well. So there was me thinking I could leave them in the vestibule of my tent. There was me thinking I could leave it all here in the vestibule for a bit of ventilation. Hopefully they might have like dried out. But no, condensation got to them instead. However, the good thing about this Vango Banshee 200 tent is no condensation in here, so I should have just brought them in here. Well, that's a lesson learned. But I've got my backup plans anyway. Always bring backups of things. Okay, so I've just packed up the tent. I've squared it all away. That was the pitch last night, the little spot. And now the weather is a bit poop. So I'm just using the GoPro for now because I can't use the Osmo when it's raining because it's not waterproof. It's the kind of rain where you wish that it kind of tickles you, and so you kind of wish that, you know, if you're going to rain, just rain properly, you know. But anyway, it wasn't a bad camp last night. I'm glad that things are packed away. I think we did alright. We did alright. I think we should get off this hill and head back to the car, because you're also got to remember that my boot is destroyed. So yeah, I could do with something warm now. I think that was quite successful. I think that was a good little trip. A little bit depressing in the morning, but what can you do, eh? I'm sure it'll be the same up at like Kinder Scout or Glenridding, so it doesn't matter. And it is British weather at the end, so well, you can't really complain. It's going to happen, and it happens most of the time. For a few minutes back there, it was more of a whiteout. It was very foggy, and I'm pretty sure that I was on the right path, but I wasn't. So for about 30 seconds I was worried that I was a little bit lost, even though I knew that that the direction I was heading in was still the right way. It was still annoying, because everywhere here is just boggy. There we go. The dam is straight ahead. All I can say now is that if you enjoyed the video, then please comment and subscribe. I'd appreciate it a lot. It just helps the channel grow, really. I gotta say though, the boot that is sort of destroyed held up quite well, but that's the last hike for these boots. Sad to say. Just have to get some new ones, so yeah, again, if there's any tent recommendations, that'd be great, but I also need some boot recommendations now. So I think on that note, I'll see you in a bit. Bye.